Hey everyone, this is Jay Lou. Today I'm going to go ahead and talk about how I was able to drop from 158 to 136 for IBJJF No-Gi Pan Ams. So I was pretty much 0.2 pounds, so I started from here and now I got to here. So let me show you how I did it. Gotta take your Alpha Sigma testosterone pills, dude. Liver is king. Nope. I'm broke because of all these jiu-jitsu competitions and all my gym dues. It's expensive, so I can't afford this unnatty crap. Actually, the liver's fine, but anything else, it's a scam. Okay, now let's go over how you can shred off some good old fat and not be an absolute Snorlax. So I'll go over the background of my weight cut first. So what I needed to do was I needed to go ahead and drop around 22 pounds, go from 158 to 136 for no-gi pants in approximately 2 months. So what I did was I wanted to drop about 2.5 pounds a week, somewhere around there. Obviously, when it came to crunch time, like the last week, I had to drop a little bit more weight. So I'll explain how I was able to do that. So first, I'll go ahead and explain what happened mathematically. So to lose weight, you need to have a calorie deficit. So what I need to do is have a specific needed calorie deficit where I lose a specific amount of weight due to calories per week, which would be the amount I'd eat over the amount I burn. So I want to be burning more calories than I take in. So I did some quick mental math, just some calculations to figure out how many calories I burned per day, just with my normal training routine, which would be probably waking up in the morning, doing some cardio and some weights, and then doing about 2 to 3 hours worth of jujitsu. So on average, I would probably be burning 3,200 calories a day, just grinding pretty hard. So pretty much what I end up eating is around 2,000 calories a day. That's why I tried to go ahead and do. I tried to eat a little bit less for better results because I really didn't need to eat that much. But honestly, I have my cravings. I'm a midnight snacker, so it was more like 2,000 calories a day with the healthy food I was eating. So anyway, so about a pound of fat is about 3,500 calories. So if we do the math together, we end up getting, with 2 months, I ended up having a calorie deficit of 72,000 calories, which meant that I lost about 2.5 pounds per week, and that made me drop about 20.5 pounds of actual fat from just math, but I think I lost a little bit more than that. This is just mental math, just writing it on a paper, just writing it down. So anyway, let's talk about macros, like how many carbohydrates, protein, fat. So usually in a day, what I would try to eat is more than 200 grams of protein. For carbohydrates, I would try to be around 150 grams of carbohydrates. And then for fat, that's the one I'm going to focus on having the lowest amount of fat because high fat meals mean a lot more calories. So I only had like around 10 grams of fat. So it was like a reverse keto diet. So a lot of you guys are probably wondering by now, J-Lu, how were you able to go ahead and do this? What was your diet? Well, the first thing, I didn't eat out at all. So I just focused on cooking and cooking good food and focusing on a lot of good superfood. So I'll go ahead and talk about the basic meal prepping meals that I did just to go ahead and do that. So I didn't suffer at all trying to eat chicken and salad, chicken and rice and broccoli like most fighters have to go ahead and do. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to have some fun cooking a little bit more and making sure that I didn't have to go through something called burnout, which a lot of wrestlers, a lot of people trying to cut weight end up having that issue, and it's no bueno. So I'll go ahead and explain what my daily meals would be. Well, my meals would involve 4 meals total, and they'd be probably based on food that I would like and I would enjoy, but I altered it to have a ton of protein in it and not very much fat. So, usually my breakfast would consider like a big pancake with some bananas, some fresh fruit. That would probably be my breakfast. My lunch or my like midday meal would kind of be pasta, which would be just usually Alfredo with a lot of protein in it. And then usually for dinner, what I would go ahead and do since I'm training hard at night is I would try to do some kind of probably like Greek yogurt or a good protein shake, but usually it's like Greek yogurt or I have it more pasta. It's more of the two. It just depends what I'm craving and feeling like. And then dessert, I usually have ice cream. So, and I may have also like a bowl of popcorn while I'm watching Netflix before I go to bed. So, I'll explain exactly how I proteify it or just lower fat, add protein. So usually for a giant pancake, I usually also have muffins sometimes. Just depends what I feel like baking. So what I'll go ahead and do is I'll usually get Kodiak pancake mix, which is pretty much a whole grain, high protein pancake mix. And I go ahead, instead of using butter and then high fat milk or something like that, I go ahead and use skim milk. And then I go ahead and use some Greek yogurt and I mix those together. I add some eggs, so I try to get like one good serving for one big pancake, and then I use a whole banana, I put it in the batter, and then I go ahead and just fry it up. So this is usually what you would want to go ahead and shop for, is right there. And yeah, that's my breakfast. It's pretty simple. It's pretty fast. So it gets a little bit more complicated when I'm talking about the pasta I make. So I'll try to keep it brief, and then I'm going to probably include a few nutrition videos on my YouTube channel just going over some recipes. So I'll keep it brief on the pasta. So for example, if I'm going to make Alfredo, I'm going to not use heavy cream or any high fat thing. What I'm going to do is use ingredients that are similar flavors, but they're healthier macro wise. So for me, if I'm going to try to make Alfredo, I'm going to go half cottage cheese and then half skim milk, blend them together in my blender, and then I'm going to add Parmesan cheese and Romero, and that will go ahead and have just a good consistency, and it will taste just like normal Alfredo sauce. For meat, I go ahead and I try to get the leanest fat meat I can get at the grocery store. So this would be 97% lean ground beef or 96% lean ground turkey. And I would go ahead and get some spices and I would make Italian sausage out of it. And I would go ahead and toss it in with pasta, which I would go ahead and focus on the pasta that uses the most plant-based protein. So I'm going to go ahead and show it on the screen, just the one I currently use, which is high protein, low carb. So you want a good amount of meat protein, plant-based protein, and dairy protein with this. And also you want to go ahead for vitamins and stuff. Go ahead and add some superfoods, add spinach, add garlic, add onions, add a lot of good vegetables into it. So that's what I go ahead and do for my lunch. Or maybe my dinner. I'll just have 2 of those. We'll see. It just depends on what I feel like having during the day. This is like one serving of seafood Alfredo that I made for meal prep this week. So this is an example of something I would eat. So the reason why I would go ahead and eat like low-fat Greek yogurt as well is it's a good way to just give you a good source of protein, and it also, like, having a cup a day helps you fight ringworm and other fungal issues. So having it's nice. Eddie Bravo said it's great, so I do that. So what I usually do is I use no artificial sweeteners. The only sweetener I use is from berries and honey. So I will make smoothies out of it, or I'll just have it straight from the bowl and have another banana or have some blueberries or some kind of berries to go with it. So that's how I'll deal with that. For ice cream, I go ahead. This was an idea that I ended up getting from Instagram, just people just using a Ninja ice cream blender, but I'm too broke for that. So I just bought just a normal ice cream maker. So what I do is I get a blender. I blend some healthy ingredients like skim milk, cottage cheese, protein powder, and I follow the recipes like I see on Instagram, and then I just put them into a ice cream machine, which goes ahead and spins it around and makes it soft serve, and then I go ahead and put it in the fridge to make it hard serve. So that's how I make my ice cream. So here's an example of the protein ice cream I currently am working on. It's currently peanut butter chocolate protein ice cream. So there you go. I'll have some of this later tonight. So right on. So anyway, that's about it on what I want to talk about on how I was able to go ahead and make my weight and lose a ton of weight and get back shredded. So I'm very happy for what I accomplished, and I made this video just to make sure that if someone's struggling on their weight and they need to get somewhere a lot more healthier, they can. I have a close friend that ended up just trying to cut way too much weight in college wrestling, and he ended up going to the hospital, ended up having kidney failure. So I don't want to see any of that. I want people to just go ahead and make their weight safely. If they're doing MMA, they're doing any other combat sports that requires um, weights or any kind of powerlifting. I don't know. Please take it for example, and if you like it, drop a like, drop a follow. Thanks, guys, and have a good one.